Welcome to Arcade Couch, the best place to chill with friends and get your gaming goodness every Monday. My name's Dylan Blight, and joining me on the couch this week, Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here for week 76 of E3.
Thank you. Me too. Very happy. E3, love it. 2020. Kieran's also here. Hello, Kieran.
Guys, I need to change my contract for Arcade Couch that there will be no seesaws allowed during the Arcade Couch podcast, okay?
Wow,
none at all.
He's memeing. Video audio listeners, Ash is performing a
seesaw
performance.
Right. This is
seesaw dance.
That should break my contract right there. Him right there, that breaks my contract. This is some bullshit going on,
Look,
guys.
it's Fall Guys.
Yeah, we'll be talking about Fall Guys in just a little bit, and also on the show we're going to be talking about Avengers getting a beta finally. Ash is still leaning, holy shit. I've played the Kiddies game finally, and we're going to be talking about video game, movie, and TV adaptations and what's happening with all of those things. Firstly, a couple of news stories to run through. All in all, though, not really much news to run through this week. It was a very quiet week, but that's fine because I feel like August is going to be some hot stuff kicking up soon. But until then. So firstly, Halo Infinite multiplayer is going to be free to play. 343 confirmed. Following a leak, 343 Industries has confirmed that Halo Infinite's multiplayer will be free to play and will support 120 frames per second on the Xbox Series X. Halo's Twitter shared the news saying Halo is for everyone. We can confirm Halo Infinite multiplayer will be free to play and will support 120 frames per second. Blah, 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 blah. More details coming soon. Earlier today, as of writing this on IGN, Smith's Toys leaked the news in its listing for the Xbox Series X, highlighting the free-to-play news, 120 frames per second, and the greatly reduced loading times. Blah, 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 blah. They're going a bit. The main story here that's intriguing to me, there's two things. Obviously, the fact that it'll be free-to-play, which we could talk about in a second. But firstly, I want to focus on the fact that I think they really got kind of shafted here, because I'm going to presume that announcing Halo multiplayer is free to play was going to be possibly one of Xbox's next big news piece reveals when it came to Halo, which may have come up in their next event when they probably focused on the multiplayer side of Halo a bit. So this is a bit shitty, I guess, for Xbox and the 343 team. But nonetheless, Kieran, what do you think about Halo multiplayer being completely free to play, 120 frames per second, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
I think it's pretty cool. I think Halo has always had one of the most accessible multiplayers around. Like, really, it's just there's a high skill cap to that game, but also it's easy to pick up and to start playing and having fun with. And I think Halo's always been great for custom maps and just hanging out with your friends in custom lobbies and playing just random game modes. Like, it's where kind of Infection spawned from that. Griffball kind of was made from that by Rooster Teeth. I think it's fantastic. I think it's a good idea. You're already getting Halo Infinite with the best deal in gaming, Xbox Game Pass. And you may as well, you're getting the storyline with Game Pass, and just everybody can jump on multiplayer and have some fun.
I suppose the other interesting thing here is there's been lots of rumors that Xbox will potentially look towards cancelling Xbox Gold, whether or not that turns out to be true or not. You
already get it as part of
that's why they
Game Pass.
That's why Ultimate though.
Ultimate only. Yeah.
Ultimate, but I think that's if with these subscription services, it's like
the rumor is that they might just incorporate like
the
both
price.
into one.
Yes.
Well, it's correct. Like, so you can pay for Game Pass and it has gold included. Like, there's no separate gold anymore.
I think it'd be like they could even do tiers of Game Pass. Like Netflix has tiers of like quality of streaming you could do. Yeah, where they could just have a games tier and an online tier.
My thing that I'm confused about though is if this happens and they're like Halo's free to play, I'm like, okay, but I have to pay for Game Pass to play online anyway, so then it's part of Game Pass. Like, is it? That's where I'm becoming very like.
That's why it's free. It's already free.
Yeah,
as long as you have Game Pass.
I mean, that's the kind of confusing part.
It's just, I guess maybe the Xbox Gold kind of.
It's free to play on. No,
PC.
Xbox One.
Well,
the Xbox One version.
I don't know. Maybe there is some more information that we.
I think there's
missing.
a lot more information.
There's probably a lot of information
that we're missing from this. So I just don't think we should really.
No, that's fine.
It's
First
confusing situation.
We'll talk about it more when
we don't need Ashley's opinion.
Yeah, we don't, because we all know it's just going
to listen. What I know from this news is to look forward to Halo Battle Royale.
Well, yeah, probably. It'd be really fun. It'd be dope. Riding around in freaking warthogs, just like got a couple banshees flying around. It'd be great. It'd be a lot of fun.
I mean, it makes sense. They just showed off this massive open world section.
Yep. 100% agree. Ashley, for once, did not do
Making
a hot
sense.
take. He made some sense in terms of
Like
when
you're
it comes
on
to
the
Xbox.
ring, and the ring is slowly breaking apart.
Can I just walk outside? I just need to double check that the world isn't like.
I think he's
on
continuing
fire.
trying to make hot takes, but he's just
Yeah.
accidentally making good points.
Yeah, I know, and I'm like.
So how big is the ring? So the game would be like.
I feel
couple
uncomfortable.
hours.
I feel uncomfortable right now.
How big is the ring?
It's just constantly breaking the entire map.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
So Press Start writes, Hawkeye is the first free post-launch Marvel's Avengers character. In the latest Marvel's Avengers War Table, the team revealed the first post-launch character. It's Hawkeye. Hawkeye will bring a completely original story arc that is apparently going to be inspired by the best Hawkeye moments from the comics. He obviously wields iconic high-tech bow and tricks and arrows. Hawkeye will push the main narrative of the game forward and bring with him a bunch of new missions. A release date wasn't given for his release, but it's said to be soon after release of the game, which is on September 4th. Also, to tie all the Avengers news into one whole big conundrum, Press Start also wrote all the Marvel Avengers beta information that you need to know. The long-awaited Marvel's Avengers beta was detailed this morning's War Table stream. We now know how and when you'll be able to play the game. The beta will take place in 3 waves. The first weekend will be for those that pre-ordered on PS4. The second weekend will be for all PS4 owners and for those that pre-ordered on Xbox One and PC. And the third weekend will be for anyone and everyone who wants to play on any platform. So if that's kind of confusing, put it this way. PlayStation pre-order people get to play August 7th to 9th early. Everyone that's pre-ordered on Xbox, PC, and PlayStation can then play August 14th to 16th. And then anyone who hasn't even pre-ordered can play the open beta on the 21st to the 23rd. During the beta, you'll be able to play as Iron Man, Kamala Khan, Black Widow, and the Hulk. Sorry? But yep. The beta will let you play through the Golden Gate mission, which acts as a tutorial and lasts about 25 minutes in length. After completing this mission, the War Table will open up, giving you new single-player missions before the game gives you Warzone missions, which are the co-op or single-player stuff that you can choose to play either online with friends or by yourself. There will be 5 Warzone missions in total that seems you'll be able to play over and over again. In order to experience all the characters and customize whatever you want to do. The beta will also bring harm rooms, which are essentially virtual training grounds which let you take on yourself or friends. There'll be 3 in total. Beta drop zones are smaller versions of the Warzone missions with more focused missions and more about getting loot. So that's all the Marvel's Avengers stuff that came out of the last War Room. I feel like Ash is probably the most excited about this.
You're missing the most important piece of news.
What I miss?
If you go in the beta, then you can get some special Hulk pickaxe things in Fortnite.
Love
you get
that.
Hulk hands for Fortnite.
And isn't that Iron Man stuff or Thor stuff?
Yeah, you can also, or you can
Yeah,
get just switch them over to Hulkbuster ones.
Cool.
So it's such a weird crossover, though.
It is a weird crossover.
What
What do you think of the rest of it? Like,
epic.
Hawkeye, you excited for Hawkeye, Ash? You excited for the beta? What do you think of the apart from the Fortnite stuff?
I think it's looking more promising as it goes along. Obviously, it looks like it's going to be very dense. They showed a lot of footage, so you would assume it's got to be reasonably big if they're showing that much content. The fact that Hawkeye's going to be free and it looks like all characters going forward will be free is a plus for gamers and good value for. Looks like they're potentially going to have a lot of content post launch and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, of course, being slightly more optimistic.
Okay,
I'm fucking in. I'm in on this game. Like I don't.
Have you pre-ordered yet?
I was actually just thinking about it so I could play the beta and just pre-order it on my PlayStation. I'm like, I don't know, watching that War Table, the game just clicked for me, and I kind of could understand what the hell was going on. Like, I don't think it clicked initially just how much quote unquote Destiny this game is. Like, this game is like super 100% that kind of game, and I'm like, nah, I'm in. I'm done. Let's go. This actually looks fun. The missions actually looked interesting compared to for me, the content they showed during this War Table, like craps all over what they showed at the last one with just the Thor mission that was very confusing. And
I was about to say, I don't remember what they showed.
Yeah, it was very it was very forgettable, that footage. So there was something like they announced for the beta. There's something like 20 playable missions across the story missions and the war tables and the harm rooms and everything for a beta. This beta sounds massive. No, I'm super in. Excited for this game. I don't want to say excited, but I'm looking forward to this game now, and I'm a lot more invested in it. I also think that they made Hawkeye look awesome. Like, they actually did a really good job of making Hawkeye look cool.
I really need to check out that Hawkeye run.
The Hawkeye run that it's coming from? Yeah, because it looks
comics,
like it looks like they've pulled from a couple different versions of Hawkeye, which is really interesting. Like the Ultimates there as well.
Is it just the run from a couple years ago where he's got the purple suit and shit?
Yeah, but he's got short hair.
But he's shaved.
He's got like a buzz cut.
He's got like a buzz cut, which is more the Ultimate Hawkeye run. Which
Ultimate Universe.
Yeah, which is more that one. So, no, I'm super excited. The moment they started, I think it was the Hawkeye moment where they were like, there's also going to be other storylines after this initial one with different Avengers and stuff. I'm like, yeah, cool, awesome, let's go. I'm good. I'm excited now, and looking forward to this game.
I won't say much. I'm nothing's floating my boat still. I need at this stage. I feel like because the thing I played at PAX disappointed me. I feel like I need the beta to impress me. Like, I need gameplay to bring me up, since it was gameplay that brought me down. Like, watching something that looks cool isn't going to impress me when it was playing the game that let me down. Like, I'm not going to be swayed until. So hopefully I'll play the beta and walk away a bit more impressed than what it was at PAX last year. And then our final news story, because this is a big one, everyone. You know, we was our own Nicholas Pryor was complaining to us about this. I think in Twitch chat when we was streaming Fall Guys, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and he was like, "Oh, Microsoft Flight Simulator looks good, but I can't believe they're not supporting fucking VR something or other." Well, guess what, Nick? You should just calm down for a minute and go off your high horse, because guess what? IGN writes, Microsoft Flight Simulator is coming to Steam. VR support coming later this year. Microsoft Flight Simulator will launch on Steam, and VR support is coming. Quote, Microsoft Flight Simulator for PC will support VR via the HP Reverb G2, whatever the fuck that is. This will be available later this fall. Head of Microsoft Flight Simulator, Jorg Newman, revealed during a press briefing. In an accompanying post on the Xbox blog, it was announced that the game will be coming to Steam on the launch day, as well as Windows 10 and Xbox Game Pass for PC, which is currently in beta. Newman has told Eurogamer that VR support will come to other headsets beyond the Reverb G2 later down the line, saying, quote, "We're going to bring it to all the devices, all the common ones. It's just going to take a few more months." During the same briefing, Newman described Microsoft Flight Simulator as an ever-changing, ever-evolving platform with more features and more planes arriving in the years to come. Following the game's launch, the team at Asobo is aiming to release something meaningful every month for the game. Free world updates will arrive every 2 to 3 months and focus on a specific area of the globe with custom airports and missions. Free sim updates will address community wishlist features in between. Asobo is planning paid DLC for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and Newman mentioned helicopters and heliports as potential focus. So on top of all this, I didn't pick any one particular thing, but I did read several different websites previews that popped up during the week. A bunch of different people got hands on, including Press Start. I read theirs. I read OzGamers one. I read Eurogamer one, and I skimmed the IGN one after I saw the article as well. And general consensus for me at the moment is I kind of went from the first time we talked about this game on this podcast to kind of just memeing on it to now I'm actually quite intrigued to properly play it, because it went from being like, when I saw the original trailer and we was talking about it months ago, whenever, I was like, this game looks very, very pretty. And that's the part that was grabbing my attention. I'm like, the game looks very beautiful, but I don't want to play such a highly complicated sim game. That's just not really my particular cup of tea. However, by reading a bunch of the previews, I've discovered that it seems like the game could be super hardcore if that's what you want, or you can basically slide over a lot of the more complicated tasks to your co-pilot in the game and be like, use control all the complicated flicky switch stuff, and I'll just focus on the not
Direction.
crashing into the mountains. Yeah. And that to
Don't hit
me
mountains,
is like,
avoid all the ducks.
yeah, that to me is like, that's the way I would like to play the game. So now I'm actually quite keen to give, I'm a
You
queen
are
too,
a
but
queen,
I'm quite, I was gonna say, I'm
You are a queen.
Listen,
I'm
be sure to
quite-
join us next week for Airplane Couch.
I'm legit keen to try this game out though, because if that's what I can do and have a lot of fun doing that and go on these beautiful journeys to, you know,
No confirmation about Shepparton Airport yet, though.
That's true.
We'll find out. Dylan, Queen of the Skies, will be making his maiden voyage. from
They
wherever he
keep
starts
saying,
to Shepparton.
yeah. I kind of don't. Here's the thing: they keep saying like everything's in the game, but of course you're like, but is it though? You know, like
Is it though?
like Shepparton.
Is it though?
Like, at this stage, how I feel about it is, I don't want it spoiled because I think it would be more interesting if I can boot up the game not knowing, like set a course and just discover. Like, especially because, like, I don't know how long it takes to fly. I think it's, you know, supposed to be like real time, right? So, like, if I'm flying, if I can set,
There's got to be a way to speed up because, like,
but what if I can leave from here?
You tell your co-pilot, I'm going to take a nap for a while and fly.
Yeah, I suppose you could do stuff like that, speed up. But if I can do it legit, like if I can set, this is what I really want to do. If I can set takeoff from Launceston or Hobart, I'll leave some
Just
leeway.
need to find us the coordinates.
Yeah, and if I can then set my coordinates to Shepparton Airport, roughly wherever the fuck that is, and then I can fly there, and it's going to take me, I guess, you know, like 2 hours, I guess, flight time estimate, probably real time if that's what it is in the game as well. That's what I'm going to do, and hopefully when I get there along
You gotta
the
stream it,
journey,
and
I'll learn some
we-
things about myself, and you know, in a depth, and then I'll discover Shepparton.
if it's possible, you stream it. I'll be in the voice chat. I can be your air hostess and like.
I might have to turn the quality settings down to low by the sounds of it to be able to stream the game at the same time, but.
Wow, that's fine. That's fine. We'll make it.
Could be fun. That could actually be legit fun.
Look,
So
we now know that the flight simulator is now considered a self-respecting flight simulator because it has the necessary VR and head tracking capabilities. Like,
that's true.
we all know, any self-respecting flight simulator needed those to be respected by the hardcore flight simulator community.
And I still can't
We've
remember
got
the
it.
exact thing that Nick was on about.
It's head tracking.
No. He wanted the
Was-
head tracking thing.
Yeah,
Like
but they
the-
said that's coming. They said it
that's
was
coming. Exactly, it's
Yeah,
coming. So
so-
it's all fine.
Yeah.
Nick's going to be in love for now. He's all
For now.
aboard.
Maybe.
Then there'll be something else.
I don't know. They're all too modern for you, maybe.
I'm
That's the
sure you
old-timey
could
stuff,
like,
doesn't
mod in some kind of like a Spitfire or like a classic
No,
kind
it's
of
the
carrier.
old Red Baron planes.
Yeah. Listen to Studio Ghibli every Tuesday.
He likes the who are the guys who invented planes?
I don't know.
Porco Rosso
Yeah, sure.
No.
Lock-
or the
lock
Wright
that in.
brothers.
The Wright brothers. He wants
Oh,
one
wow.
of those planes. He wants to have to go from a running start and then take off.
Do you guys remember that
Otherwise it's-
time the Wright brothers had a rap battle with the Mario brothers? It was insane.
Is that a YouTube video?
It is indeed epic rap battles of history, classic from the old high school days.
Yeah, no thanks.
Holy crap!
Dylan's got beef.
Wow, Dylan's got beef with epic rap battles of history. Everyone.
So I played about 4 hours roughly of Ooblets finally the other day. The game came out in early access late last week. I think maybe it was the day of or the day before we recorded. So I hadn't played it by then, but I played it now. Obviously,
Let me just say, you were streaming your first impressions. I was watching while I was working on some other stuff. I have no idea what was going on. So what is Ooblets?
Yeah, I was about to say it. I have to get into this because here's the thing: we talked about this game a lot on the show, right? It's I believe, unless Cherie can prove me wrong, I believe Ooblets is the game that coined like hashtag cuties, like as a thing. Like I think that was the first hashtag cuties
Yes,
designated game.
Was
I
it?
can't think of something.
I think
No,
it was.
wasn't it like the Pokemon, like the Pikachu and Eevee game that did it?
No.
Or did
No.
it precede
I
that?
think it was Ooblets.
Eevee's not cute.
I'm pretty sure it was Ooblets was the
So,
hashtag
what?
cuties game. Anyway, so this game's been in the work for a while. Obviously, we covered when the people got all shitty at the devs because they went Epic Game Store exclusive on PC and so on and so forth. And it's finally out. And if you've watched any trailers for it, it has a very colorful, vibrant art style. Lots of cute little creatures that are sort of similar to Pokemon. But I got to be completely honest, it was so weird that the amount of time I've spent talking about this game and being like, yeah, I'm excited for this game. And then when I finally started, I was like, I have actually no idea what this game's about. Like what you do when you play this game. It was so weird. So what you do in the game is it's kind of a weird hybrid mix of 1/3 like a farming, like a Strawdew Valley type thing. 1/3
Stardew Valley.
whatever it's
Strawdew
called. What's it called?
Valley.
Strawdew Valley? Yeah, whatever.
Stardew Valley.
Yeah, okay, whatever you said. 1/3 of that, and then I'd say it's like 1/3 a Pokemon game, kinda, and then also a card builder, because this is where things get very confusing. So you walk around. Here's what you can do on the farming side. You start the game, you begin talking to people. You get friends with them. You talk to people in town. You build friendship levels with them. The more you talk to them, you'll build relationships with them, so on and so forth. So there's that stuff. There's shops to buy stuff, blah, 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 blah. You got to your house. Of course, you start the game with a piece of shit house. You need to upgrade that, so on and so forth. But outside your house, you have farm, land, whatever. You can plant seeds there to grow foods, like carrots and these sorts of things, and these help you grow resources that you can either then just sell for money, or you can of course keep the carrots and whatever else you grow to like create cakes or like better items. And that's all very, very like simple sort of farming stuff. Where it becomes sort of weirder is when you get the Ooblets side of things into it. So you get to pick an Ooblet at the start of the game that's yours. You get to pick between, it was like 3 or 4 different Ooblets, and it's basically like picking your starter Pokemon, more or less. I picked like a grass type thingy, and you can nickname everything. So I just named it Oddish because I was like, whatever, I'm just going to nickname every Ooblet into a Pokemon names to make my life easier. So start with that, and then you can battle, quote unquote, of Ooblets, either like random ones that like you'd call like wild Ooblets. Like say there was a lighthouse that was taken over, for example, by some Ooblets, and some person in the town is like, hey, they're like keeping me out and being assholes, can you take care of them? But you don't fight Ooblets, you dance off. So when you enter a battle, it's a dance off, and the dance off battle is done with a card battle system. Yeah, so this is where it gets like quite interesting. So, and the card battle system, and I won't go too in depth on the card stuff. It's very simple. Like if you've played any sort of card game, it's not like, I feel like because this game has like so many different sorts of elements, it's not like they didn't go super hardcore on like the card battle system. Because you're not like customizing and taking out different cards to get like the perfect whatever system. But you do have like a sort of mana equivalent to what sort of cards you can cast per turn. And then basically some cards will build up your hype meter, which means other cards will do more points. And then depending on like, say if you're battling, if you're dancing off against like 2 Ooblets, it's the first to reach like a score of 20. And if you're battling off against like 5 Ooblets, it's like the first to reach a score of 40. And they'll do dance moves at you, which can stun your team or like steal points from you. And then you'll do dance moves against them that can steal points or build your hype meter. And it's pretty simple. It's pretty fun. It's got some catchy tunes.
It's pretty simple.
It is pretty simple. Like as far as, I'm saying it's simple, like as far as card games go, like if you've played a few card games, like I feel like I've been around the road a couple times when it comes to sort of card games, obviously. So I feel like I'm finding it very simple, but maybe other people would find it harder, you know? But of course, I'm sitting downstream being like, I'm pretty sure if I play this now, play this after that, as long as I don't stun this person, I'm pretty sure I just win next move. You know, like I'm thinking about it like it's fucking Magic the Gathering when I don't think it's actually as in depth as my brain is kind of processing what I'm playing. But at the end of every dance off, your team levels up. As they level up, they get new cards / moves that are stronger and do more points when you pull them off, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you can grow your team. You can have a max of 5 Ooblets carrying around with you at one time. You can leave your excess ones at your home and they'll just wander around. Now, the other thing that this game does that is obviously sort of pointing at Pokemon, the one thing that people always point out about Pokemon that's kind of shitty, because a lot of people don't like Pokemon as a franchise because of like the dogfighting element of it that people take aim at. Like, you literally capture these wild monsters, forcibly make them fight, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This game, to get Ooblets in this game, you will win a fight, and then one of the enemy Ooblets, say you just battled an Ooblet you don't have. So when you beat them, you literally walk up to the Ooblet and be like, hey, you did a really good job in the dance, good job. And then they'll be like, yeah, thanks. And then they fart pretty much and they drop out one of their seeds, which you take.
Well, look, this goes to a point, all right? This goes to a point. And look, my first main point would be, if you hadn't streamed this game and you'd come onto this show and started talking about this, I would be concerned. I'd be like, okay, Dylan didn't play this game. He's had some kind of fever dream. We need to work him through this.
There is proof I played the game. It's fine.
There is some proof you played the game. I did watch what you played for a little while. But you said a sentence on the Twitter sphere, on the Twitters. Something along the lines of, you found a shiny one and you needed to take its seed.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah, well, I mean, that's literally the thing that happened. I was literally about to end the stream because at the end of every day, when you go sleep at your home, so you do have energy, so you can only plant a certain amount of things, and like watering stuff uses energy, planting stuff uses energy. I think that's like typical sort of farming sim type stuff. Anyway, I go to sleep, and then when it goes to the next day, it comes up like what Ooblets are appearing in town that day, and there was like a shiny one there. They're not called shiny in this game; they're called unique, or
organic.
or some different word. I don't remember what it is, but I'm never going to remember it because I'm always just going to refer to them as fucking shiny Ooblets. So I was like, oh, shiny Ooblet. And I did. I went and found it, danced off, beat it. It farted, gave me its seed, took its seed, back to my house, planted it. Haven't hatched yet because I did save and get off the game after that. But so you have to water it for like 3-4 days probably. And then the plant hatches or whatever, and out pops an Ooblet. And that's how you get Ooblets in this game. You don't catch them. You get another one's seed.
Dance them until they're exhausted.
You dance it? They're not exhausted though. They're happy. They're just like, oh, you won. You know, it was like, I'm Channing Tatum and you're the loser.
Die like samurai.
At some point in the stream, I kept referring to myself as Step Up 1 and they're Step Up 3. They're not as good. So.
Take the little stalk and...
No, thank you. No. This game.
After you leave, they do.
You just don't see that. That's the dark side of Ooblets.
There's a part of Ooblets, actually. I didn't do it because I'm like, why would I do this? But there's a part where it's like you can release Ooblets you don't want into the wild.
Oh, okay.
So, and because the game's early access, there is going to be a wild area, but they haven't added it into the game yet. And what that wild area looks like, I don't know because it's not in the game. Anyway, when you walk up to the gate that leads to the wild area, it does let you know that you can release Ooblets into the wild. But before that, it literally gives you a message about straight up just being like, hey, if you have pets and you don't want them, you should take them to the like RSPCA equivalent. Like the game is very much like, you know, very sort of heavy-handed with it's very obviously like inspired by Pokemon in some regards, but also like criticizing, I feel, certain parts of obviously the Pokemon lore and so forth. But I mean, I guess my early impressions, I was going to write up a preview thing eventually because it's early access. You can't review early access stuff. I think that's a rule. No one should review early access stuff, but I might write up a preview thing, but I still don't feel like I've played quite enough I haven't fully touched everything. But I'd also say the fact is that I did stream it for 4 hours. I did reach a point where I was going to get off, but I had to keep playing to do something else. So I feel like as weird as it is and it sounds, the game is quite adorable. It's also quite weird. But its mechanics and like the the daily loop, I guess, is it was starting to get its hooks into me because it has that whole like once I was starting to get an understanding of the core mechanics, it is like okay, I'll wake up, water these plants, go find a dance off with some Ooblets. I check the beach to see what random bits of shells have washed up to see if I get any rare ones. I go check the shops. Like, you get like a daily routine to these sorts of games. It's no different than like Animal Crossing daily routine or anything like that. So but I was very confused for like the first hour playing the game. Someone came into the stream and was like, hey, I'm going to help you understand and to play the game. And I kept asking them questions. I'm like, what am I doing? So that's another thing that I hope gets fixed. I feel like at the start of the game is very much like, it's like, here's like a million objectives, people, things to do. And I was starting to just feel very like overwhelmed. I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing at this stage. Like, I've got 20 fucking objectives. Which one should I be focusing on? Where should I be doing? What should I be going on about? But once I kind of push through it, but yeah, Ooblets, it's cute. It's weird. I'm enjoying it. I don't know if it's for everyone, but if you like dancing and farming, that's the game. That is the game. It's on Xbox. It's on Epic Game Store. That's it. Yeah, I was like, what was the thing I just said before? And I've already forgot.
Is it? So I'm guessing it's not on the PC version for Xbox. It's only
it is.
console.
No, it is.
It is. Oh, yeah. Okay, interesting.
Which those people that complain about the Epic Game Store don't. You're not allowed to say that. They're like, in reality, what they mean, they're not against Epic Game Store. They're against anything that's not Steam.
Steam
is the thing. Yeah. All right, and then also, we did. Me and Ash talked about this at length on last week's episode of Platinum Explosion. But Fall Guys, we streamed and played the beta. The three of us, the last weekend's beta. They had another beta this past weekend when this episode's coming out. So 2 betas. The game's taken off like fucking crazy pretty much during the beta period. I think that I've seen the Twitter account pretty much double its followers over the last 2 weeks, probably nearly 3 times its followers. It's just constantly up numbers on the Twitch chart. I've seen more and more popular people start streaming the game. I think this game is going to be a smash hit. We all enjoyed it. Kieran, you haven't had a chance to talk about it yet. What are your thoughts on the Fall of the Guys?
Fall Guys, I thought it was fantastic. I was a little bit worried before we started stream Saturday night a week ago, where because I was like, okay, I don't know how long this game's going to keep like our attention. It's beta. There's probably not that many levels right now. And then all of a sudden we've been playing for like 4 hours. And even at like the end of that stream, we were still like, do we stop here? Do we keep going? We could keep going.
You know,
we could keep going.
Just to butt in for a second, you know the funniest thing about you saying that is the fact that I think I lined up for like 40 minutes to play 1 round at PAX. 40 minutes to play 1 round, and luckily I made it to the last round and I got like 2nd or 3rd, so I got like a full play time out of it. But imagine lining up 40 minutes to like die and then getting ejected in the first round. Yeah.
I think it's I think it's really fun. It's interesting. I think the range of levels are quite cool and quite interesting. That each level has their own problems. I think, as I've well documented saying, I hate the seesaw levels with set level with a passion. But I think I just think that's easily fixable, that seesaw level and the problems I had with it. I think it was just very inconsistent.
Yeah, the solution is get good.
Let's clarify. The problem with the seesaw, because I kind of agree, although I just think you're bad at platforming. But I kind of agree.
I got a lot better when I switched over to controller. I was much better
that's
once I stopped using mouse and keyboard.
Yeah,
controller was
you stop using mouse and keyboard. There's your problem, Karen.
No, not for everything. just in this case.
But the seesaw problem that we have is if everyone like dives on one end of the seesaw, and it seems people can kind of troll if they want by just sort of keeping it down.
Some of the seesaws just don't. There's one particular seesaw at the start of one of the areas that seems to like, once it is tipped in one direction, it's just never coming back, and it keeps spawning you over the other side of it. So you have to. I
do think the easy fix is literally like if a seesaw has been like program in, if seesaw has been at its like full tilt point for like 20 seconds or 30 seconds, then it automatically like moves back to center position. I feel like that just solves
Yes.
our major
Yeah, exactly. Between that and I think there was just some inconsistency where I couldn't work out when I would be able to jump and get purchase on one of the platforms or when I would just slide horribly to my death.
I do think some of that wonkiness is supposed to be part of the game's
Yes. Yeah. It was just
charm, though.
some of it.
Just a little bit of randomness.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're
playing as these like pillows shoved with pillowcases with potatoes in them. So
no, that's completely. But other than that, I had so much fun with it. There was already it was a great stream game or just a good game just to hang out and play for a couple hours. I'm really excited for full launch. I think it's fantastic that it's on PS Plus. I think it should do as well, if not better, than Rocket League did. So I think everybody should jump on it and play it. It's so much fun.
Here's what I'll say about the stream, right? Being a great stream game. We had a lot of fun streaming it. I'm probably planning on streaming it unless there's... actually, I think I might have to work now. Fuck. But I was planning on streaming it on the release day. But anyway.
I'm sure we'll find a day to do it.
Yeah, we'll stream it again. Here's my one. You're like, oh, this is a stream game. Yes, it's very much a stream game. And I quickly looked around at a bunch of people streaming it today, and I know this is a criticism of streamers and not the game itself, but can maybe some of you just chill with the over-the-top screams every single time you fall down? Like, I'd click on some people, and I know that's like just, I guess people like that, but oh my god.
Be sure to go to @ExplosionPod on Twitter to see Dylan's reaction to him losing.
Yeah, but I'm saying you could, like, it's every time. I'm like, it's that that's the whole thing. This is my criticism. I don't get it. Kieran watches more Twitch than me. Do you not feel like this is a thing? Like,
I think it just depends on the streamer, and I think.
But surely people can tell. Like, it's like, especially you can tell.
Yeah, sometimes you're just like, okay, you're overplaying that. I think for some people, it's a method to try and get quote unquote over in streaming, or to get people to like you, is to be this over the top character that is.
Yeah, I understand that to a degree, but I feel like there's a line when you go, like, if it's really noticeable that you're like, there's a difference between like being on and then just
being on. No, I think it's fine. I think it's
And
some
I was like,
enjoy that.
Flicking through this game, I'm like, this game is leading to a lot of people being really fucking on. Like, so that was my.
I think there's just a happy balance. Like, I think there's some really good moments. I really enjoyed our moment from me running away from tail with a tail. That tail game's really funny. I don't want to be one of those people, those filthy people without a tail.
No.
That's the truth.
Wow.
That's true.
Look, I stand by that comment.
Put it on a shirt.
Put it on a shirt and make sure there's a tail on the back of it.
Wow.
Ash, but no,
can we do that?
Yeah, we can try. Ash, you've played some more of the round that's happening at the moment on the weekend we're recording this.
Yeah, I played
the second beta. Is there some new stuff in? Or?
Not really. It's more of the same. I do think they did tweak the seesaw thing. It felt like it was coming down a bit more regularly. But I found the game that I hate.
Okay, yeah.
I think we played like once or twice. It's the level where you go up and the slime is coming up the mountain. Yeah. I just can't beat it.
Can't beat it.
I think the biggest problem
is the Dark Souls of Fall Guys.
It is. It was like 5 matches in a row. That was the third one.
Maybe it's one they're
couldn't get past it.
Maybe it's one they're really testing or something. They're pushing it.
Welcome to my life, where we kept getting seesaws every single round for like the first.
Yeah, but that one's fine.
Not fine. It sucks.
But yeah,
not fine. It sucks.
Great game. It's genius that they put it on PS Plus.
Yeah. It's genius that PlayStation paid them for.
Yeah, they must have had it in the works for a fair while. When it was Game Awards, it was announced, wasn't it?
I think so.
Initially,
Shuhei's you can kind of see it in the water when you look back, because Shuhei's always been like liking and retweeting posts about Fall Guys for like months at this point. So,
did you see a month ago the one of the devs that actually like quote unquote leaked that it was PS
like
Plus?
Capitals in different tweets,
like the first capital of like 3 tweets in a row said PS Plus.
For the lols. Yeah. I mean, it was originally announced as a PS4 console exclusive, so maybe it's always been the PS Plus thing that was just waiting to.
Maybe it was in a state of play. I can't remember.
I don't think it was in a state of play.
No. Are you asking?
I knew what it was. Like, look, when it was at PAX last year, which was October, I already knew what the game was before then. So it was announced.
It must have been before Game Awards.
Yeah.
It probably was at Devolver.
Yeah, it was probably Devolver or something like that. That would make sense.
Because it was at Devolver this year, so I presume it was at Devolver.
Yeah, if it was at Devolver last year, like in June, then that would make sense. And then we walked into PAX and I was like, oh, the Fall Guys is here. I want to play that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was announced at E3 last.
There you go. That adds up. Yeah. That does add up. Because I remember when we played it at PAX, to put into perspective how much that Twitter account's grown, I remember like taking a picture or whatever and like tweeting at the account back at PAX last year. And I think the Fall Guys Twitter account back then only had like 2,000-3,000 followers when I tweeted at them at PAX. And now they're up to like probably 50 fucking K.
Well, they were doing like this week. With the beta, they've been doing a really.
They were at like 20,000 followers when we did the beta Love Weekend.
Yeah, they've been so smart with like. I know the tweet I saw today was that if they
reach
50K, they were just gonna give a Google Doc full of beta codes publicly and just be like, "Okay, go."
And it's worked. We should do that.
Yeah,
I don't know what we have codes for though. Have to find.
I'm sure
codes
we have
for
codes
podcast.
Yeah, codes for podcasts.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So it's just the link. Like multiple times.
So you can no. It's a special link so they can join in on the recording sections and just witness the amount of stuff that Dylan edits out of the episode.
Half the show.
So much.
So much. Like this part.
We'll say it's currently sitting 4th biggest game on Twitch at time of recording.
There you go.
So
higher than last time.
I think it's really smart. I think it's and I think they needed it to be this. They needed it to be this big. If it wasn't this big, and they didn't have, their beta strategy around this has been fantastic. The fact that this weekend's beta wasn't even originally planned to go ahead, but just because of how well it went last weekend, they just...
It's kind of weird because it feels like it should just be like, just put the game out. Like,
well, the game's out on the 4th. So
yeah, I know.
Either way, it's
2 days away.
Yeah, it's like tomorrow if you're listening to this on the Monday. So, it's completely fine.
All right, let's talk about the state of video game movies and TV shows because there's a couple things that got announced during this past week. So cover those and then what we think should be coming next. Firstly, though, I did ask on Twitters to see if anyone else had ideas of things that they would like to see, movies they would like to see turned into, games that they'd like to see turned into movies or TV shows. Our own Nicholas Pryor said he would love to see a documentary of Ubisoft being held accountable, which is a lol.
I'm sure it's in the works.
That was a good one, Nick. I appreciate that. I said Life is Strange, which I'll bring up in a second. And then Zach Jackson from Well Played said they'd love to see The Order 1886 be made into a TV series with Jared Butler as Galahad, Sean Connery as Percival, and his budget is gone. It is. And then Simon Blackburn from Take My Tone podcast replied to him and said he doesn't want Jared Butler in it because apparently Jared Butler shits him. So I don't know what's on there, but Simon Blackburn is definitely not having
I think
Jared Butler on Take My Tone anytime soon.
Sorry. I tell you what, you will blow your budget trying to get Sean Connery to do anything.
Yeah, because I think he's dead. We just don't know.
What? Don't say, Dylan. If something happens to Sean Connery in 2020, it's your fault. It's on you.
Look, if anything happens to anyone in 2020's fault, it is definitely not my fault.
It's Sean Connery is on you now.
You know what I mean?
Like, this up.
Sean Connery's one of those celebrities that honestly, and unless someone like reminds me that he's not dead, I just think he's dead.
Well, stop thinking that. Dylan.
I feel like we've had this Sean Connery.
We have had this conversation.
We've said this before.
We've had this conversation, but it is interesting.
That's right. We were talking about how old he is. He's 89.
He has disappeared off the planet. And he
deserves to.
Wouldn't you have disappeared off the planet after going off on that high that was League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
Great movie. I love how he died at the end of that movie. That's crazy, yeah. Like,
can you look? He's found the Holy Grail. He's all good. He's fine. He knows what's up.
Would you believe that? I think it's because I'm recording this straight after coming from work, but I just had a split second where my brain went how did we get here? And then I was like, well, wait, movie, game, TV shows, Sign Blackburn, Zach Jackson, Order 1886, Take My Tone,
You went on a walk.
play.com.net, hashtag -. Anyway, follow and check out all those people and go check on Sean Connery to make sure he's not in.
Stop it!
As of right now, he is fine. I don't know what it's like with COVID over in Scotland, but you know, I imagine he like lives in a castle and has got like a massive moat, so he'll be fine.
Yes, actually, I live in a castle. Actually,
You know, can't cough 1.5 meters over a moat.
Not Sean Connery, please.
Second not should I? Anyway, yeah, movies, game, TV shows. So, in case anyone doesn't know, Uncharted movies for me, just an update on that. If you want constant updates, be sure to listen to Platinum Explosion, our PlayStation podcast, because we give you every single Uncharted update that you do not want, but we give it to you anyway.
Every piece.
Every fucking piece, yeah. And it's not even my fault now. I literally, behind the scenes, literally recorded Platinum Explosion like 2 weeks ago. I thought the show was about to end. I didn't realize Ash had just pasted in a story about Uncharted. I'm like, I guess we're talking about it now. So,
what was that story about, though? Very important.
It was about Tom Holland's haircut. So, yep, you get all the hard-hitting PlayStation news, #1 PlayStation podcast in Oceania.
Important note.
Listen to it every Wednesday on podcast services and YouTubes. But two that got announced this past week, both Ubisoft properties. Ubisoft, they're a great company. But the first one, VG247 writes, an anime Splinter Cell series is in the works from Netflix. Netflix and Ubisoft are developing an anime series of Splinter Cell, and it's going to be penned by Derek Kolstad, writer of John Wick film franchise, according to a Variety report. Kolstad will also executive produce the series. Variety sources say the series has been greenlit for 2 seasons with a 16-episode order. So while it's not a new game, it's at least something. Let's discuss this one before jumping onto the second one to set them apart, because obviously every year people are like screaming and yelling about wanting a new Splinter Cell game. Every year Kieran predicted it for our E3 predictions. That never happens.
Someday it'll happen.
Is it weird that they're turning Splinter Cell into an anime series, Kieran?
No.
Is it something you're excited about?
No. I don't know. It's weird that it's going to be animated, but at the same time, I don't think it's weird just because I feel like they are building towards a Splinter Cell game. I feel like...
Yeah, tying game.
They've just... Ashley.
Tying to the TV series.
Why did you do that? Why did you... But I feel like over the last year or so, they've slowly been kind of adding Sam Fisher back into more and more things, and having him kind of be there. And there's been more Splinter Cell related Easter eggs in games popping up. So I think we're leading towards a Splinter Cell announcement. So having an animated series, sure, yeah, it'll be okay. I guess that between that and the Beyond Good and Evil 2, Beyond Good and Evil series as well. Ubisoft is jumping in. It's just getting involved.
Ash, do you think a Splinter Cell animated series is something that you'd be watching?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it'll be on Netflix, so be sure to tune in to what you want to watch. But I feel like that's a good medium then to, if you're going to translate it to any other medium than video games, I guess animation is probably as good as anything else. Probably top of the list. Depending on what studio's working on it and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, obviously they haven't said who's doing the animation. With Kolstad involved in it, everyone's going to lead with the whole headline about him being involved with John Wick. I personally, which by the way, side back note, Kolstad has also... He was supposedly going to be doing a Hitman live-action film and a Just Cause live-action film, but neither of these things have happened yet. But those two things were announced at some point, or rumored at different points. But here's, as much as I love the John Wick films, I don't think having him as showrunner is going to get me excited, because the John Wick films are fantastic for their action and world building, sure. But I guess if I want a good Splinter Cell show, I want a good espionage,
Well, I think Sam
with
Fisher's
twisted
a very
tales.
good character.
Yeah, I'm saying the writer. I'm saying the writer
Yes,
of the series. I don't like him having written. Everyone's going to. Everyone's lead in all the news stories I've seen about this. It's always like the writer of John Wick's doing Splinter Cell, so you should be happy. And I'm going, like, as no offense to him, but I'm like, him having done the John Wick films doesn't mean that Splinter Cell is completely different. Like that's more writing than John Wick has. John Wick has, and then John Wick shoots people, and then that's 10 minutes of action choreograph, and then the next page says John Wick says nothing, Halle Berry looks cool, then a fight happens for 10 minutes. You know, like there's not much writing.
There's not much range or quote unquote depth to John Wick. He is just
the script literally probably says
like
he fucking fights people. Like, you know,
well,
and then the fight choreography team works out the rest from there, kind of thing. So
to be fair, he's currently working on Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but you know that's espionage.
Yeah, kind of. But also, to be fair, I still haven't seen that. So, like, I'm saying what I have seen of. Yeah. Anyway, I've kind of lost my point here because I wasn't trying to shit on him. I'm just trying to say that, like,
You haven't seen The Package starring Steve Austin
I actually
and
have.
Dolph Lundgren?
I have.
Yeah?
I have.
How was that?
It was terrible. It's a It's a
How
fucking.
was the writing?
It's a WWE movie, which they don't make those anymore, do they? There was that period where all they did was make those. Do they still make them?
No, they do.
They're still pumping out the Marine.
Because the Marine, like Miz makes the Marine quite often, and then there was one with Becky Lynch a little while ago.
Okay, I wasn't sure
Yeah, it was
because
another Marine.
I wasn't sure. I used to have one of my friends in high school, my ex best friend, Rip. His brother,
The one you stole the Lugia from?
Yeah.
Okay,
his
cool.
older brother was obsessed with those fucking WWE movies, and he would just buy every single one when they came out. So I'd have to watch them all the time, and some of them were terribly bad, and some of them were terribly mediocre. That they kind of became good by the end, and I was like, oh, Stone Cold punched people, I guess. I don't know. So the other series that got announced was Ubisoft is turning. This one comes from was reported on by the Hollywood Reporter, which I find so interesting that the people that broke these two stories were completely different, but also reputable sources. Anyway, Netflix will work on a Beyond Good and Evil movie that combines live action and animation. The new project will be helmed by Detective Pikachu director Rob Letterman and produced by Ubisoft's Jason Altman and Margaret Boykin. The team is currently looking for writers to adapt the source material. Beyond Good and Evil, the brainchild of Rayman creator Michelle Ancel, originally appeared on PlayStation 2, Xbox, GameCube, and PC back in 2003. And of course, there is a sequel coming eventually. I got really excited when it was announced, and now I'm kind of just like, fuck, just.
It is the new Beyond Good and Evil 2 is like the new Last Guardian and Kingdom Hearts at the moment.
It's getting close,
It feels
but
like
it's not quite there. Like it's getting there.
It's getting there.
It's only been 2 years since
there.
it was announced. Let's calm down. Let's
It was like 3 years, wasn't it?
no, we're only 3 years old. Like as a collective.
Yeah.
It was announced like last year.
It was like the first year that we were doing stuff.
No, wasn't it like 2018? Nah, fuck. Nah.
No, we saw it. No, we saw it back at my house. It was after PAX that year, and that was at least 2 years ago.
Not to call you bullshit, Karen, but the amount of times you say we saw something at your house when we only watched one event at your house, and the amount of times I'm seeing you say that we watched something at your house, I think you think every time we've been in a Hangouts and watched E3 that it's been at your house.
That could be the case. That could be the case.
It was announced at Ubisoft's E3 2017 conference.
Oh, wait. How many years ago was 20? Sorry. I know. We just got into the whole thing about Kieran. You think. That was 2017 was 3 years ago.
That was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Nah. Maybe your site's wrong because it was probably only last year.
No.
What was last year?
It was probably only announced last year.
No,
No.
it was
No?
2007. We're fine.
Okay.
Beyond Good and
It
Evil,
was
right.
like 2007.
Love that.
2007.
That's when they started working on it.
Get back, Dylan.
No, hold on. Let's be fair to this. So if you want to compare it to Last Guardian and the other thing you said, Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts.
They never officially announced the game till 2017. So it's only 3 years old. Anything prior to that was rumors and speculation, which doesn't count. Rumors and speculation does not count as like
Well, I would
a long
say they
waiting
didn't
period.
announce Kingdom Hearts till Kingdom Hearts 3 till like 2016, whatever the
No,
Year of Dreams one.
Fuck.
Same year as Final Fantasy 7.
Get the fuck out of here, Ashley. They announced that game before you was born. That's how old it was. And you're quite fucking old. Concepts for Kingdom Hearts 3 began as early as 2005.
Concepts. Not
The game
announcements.
was not announced until 2013. Oh, fuck. To 13. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So it took 6 years to come out. Did it come out last year?
Did it come out last year?
Oh
Yeah, that's
my
right, it did come
god,
out
this is a podcast, isn't it? What year was it? Who went what? What happened? Oh, Clint Eastwood.
Time is all relative at this point.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, so that game took 6 years. So yeah, look, Beyond Good and Evil's only just hit the halfway point. So let's just calm down. Anyway, they're
So
turning.
look forward to another 3 years, right?
No, I'm not. I'm not looking
100%
forward.
actually, I'm with you.
No, so
I'm with you, Ash.
so this one I'm looking forward to more than Splinter Cell because the director has a proven track record with video game adaptations. Like, is it not just commonly accepted at this stage that Detective Pikachu is just the best video game adaptation? No, like, is that not just a thing now? Is that do you want to argue with that, Ash? You want to argue? Do you
I
want to?
feel like there was something recently that we said.
Sonic, wasn't Sonic good?
Okay, it's nowhere near Detective Pikachu.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's the top of a bad category.
What do you think? Detective Pikachu's not a good movie?
I think it's a fine movie.
You don't think it's good? You think it's just fine? I think it's good.
Yeah, I think it's just below. It's like just at the very bottom of the good category.
What score would you give it?
I think I gave it like a 7.
Did you review it?
No, I'm pretty sure you did.
I thought I reviewed it.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I gave it. Anyway, so that
I think you probably gave it a 7 as well.
I don't remember. I hate everything. So, yeah.
True.
Letterman though, yeah, David Letterman, best TV show host. No,
You say David Letterman?
yeah, I can't remember the guy's name.
He did.
Jeff Letterman. No, I can't remember. Can't remember opening article.
It's Rob.
Rob Letterman. Yep. David Letterman's cousin. He's directing this movie, but he has a proven track record because he directed Detective Pikachu. That's how we got here. And that means I should be more excited for Beyond Good and Evil. No. The part that confuses me of this is the half animation, half live action. Like, I don't understand why. Like, does that just mean does that mean... Is it just worded weirdly, and it actually just means that like Jade would be played by kind of like Detective Pikachu. Jade would be a human person, like a human actor, and the pig characters and whatever would be animated like Detective Pikachu. Like, it doesn't actually mean half the movie.
You would think
animated.
so. I don't think prosthetics would be able to pull it off.
No, look, some costumes, some makeup, some paint, some oink oinks. Off you go. You know, off to the races with some things like that. So they're two Ubisoft things are getting turned into things. So since they're both Netflix, let's just bring the question down to this, Kieran. What other game from any company, doesn't have to be Ubisoft, would you most like to see Netflix turn into a TV series, animated or not animated, or a movie animated or not animated?
Listen, did you want some time to fill in your thinking? Because I mean, you said these couple of properties, but there's a lot of other ones that are currently in development that are already being made.
Okay, hit us with the list, Smarty Pants.
All right, so we've got Mortal Kombat coming out next year.
That's filmed in Australia.
Filmed in Australia. So that might come out. Tomb Raider 2 has got a date of March 19th, 2021. Monster Hunter. It's meant to come out sometime.
That has been filmed, so that's actually happening. Like, that's not.
It's
debatable.
been filmed, so it got delayed till April next year.
My mate's in that.
Tony Yar.
Yeah, Tony Yar. Yeah.
Yep. Uncharted, of course. That's in the works.
Of course, that's filming now, and that's not debatable anymore.
Filming right now.
Filming. So
apparently, there is a Minecraft movie in development coming out March 2022. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, of course, is in the works. There's the Borderlands film that Eli Roth is working on. There is a Crossfire film based on that very popular Korean/Chinese video game. There is a Detective Pikachu sequel.
Was they doing two for those? Didn't they announce I was doing like different? No? Was they do a sequel
Just
plus
a
a different
sequel,
one?
sorry.
Okay,
It could
no.
just be set in the same universe.
Okay.
Five Nights at Freddy film. There is a Gears of War movie in the works.
There's also
There is a
the Last of Us HBO stuff.
Last of Us HBO. There is a Just Cause film coming. There is a Just Dance film coming.
Hey, hold on.
Whoa.
Whoa. Based on which game?
2005. There's a Mega Man film in the works. Of course, John Voight Roberts is working on Metal Gear Solid. There's a Space Invaders film being developed by Warner Brothers. Resident Evil they're working on.
Didn't they do that?
Saints. Yeah, there's a Saints Row film in the works. SimCity and The Sims are both being made into films.
The Sims?
Yep.
I mean,
There's
it's my life.
a Mario Brothers movie. Let's jump to TV series. There's an Angry Birds animated show. There's the Arcane League of Legends TV show coming. There's a show called Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon vibe based on Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon.
What?
Hungry Shark Squad, based on Hungry Shark by Ubisoft. Hyperlight Drifter TV show. There's the Cuphead show.
Yeah, that one's happening. That's Netflix as well.
That's coming. There's a Rayman series coming as well as a Watch Dogs
Ubisoft
series,
is
but it's
all
kind of
in,
like
eh?
based. They are all in. It's meant to apparently be a smaller series around like a middle school kid doing hacking and shit. So it's not really like the other ones, but and then TV shows have got Brother in Arms, which was a tactical shooter by Gearbox.
Did you just say that like no one knows? Is that because you?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Is that because you don't think like that? You
I
never
don't
heard
think
of
that's
that?
a big enough game that people will know.
True story. I was placed second on the Australian leaderboard for Brothers in Arms Hell's Highway.
Yeah, that was the one I played first.
The game store that I worked at got copies early. We played
shit.
online the day before it happened.
Yeah,
Cool.
they turned that franchise into shit fast. But anyway, continue.
Yep. They're working on a live action Final Fantasy TV show, Resident Evil TV show for Netflix, a Steins Gate live action adaptations in the works.
Oh god!
They're working on a Twisted Metal TV show, a vampire show is being developed for Fox, and my personal favorite, Ubisoft Film and Television and Atlas Entertainment are collaborating on a Skull and Bones TV series.
Which will come out first. Skull and Bones. You guys remember talking about that game?
It's going to be good now.
Dylan's excited for it, remember everyone?
Yeah.
I don't believe
So that's
half of
everything-
these things you just talked about.
There was a lot. And I'm
There was a lot.
That's a lot, yeah.
No. What's your answer then, Kerry?
Mass Effect.
All right. Okay.
Mass Effect would be cool. I'd be like, it's a TV
show. Okay.
TV show, not a movie. Like a TV show, give it some time. It's a good universe. You could write a decent story within it. So
then my follow-up question is, do you think that EA and BioWare would be ever willing to do such a thing? Like do a TV show?
I feel like they would if EA had some proof that it would be profitable for them, I guess. You know, EA's already did, not EA, it was freaking Ubi did Assassin's Creed and it was terrible. With, you know, not even hiring a decent lead actor could save that movie. But no,
I've watched it and I couldn't tell you what the fuck happened, so.
It was a very weird version of Assassin's Creed. But
I just remember on the EA thing.
I think
EA back in the day. Do you remember they did? I don't know if you ever. I watched them because I'm a big fan, but they did those Dead Space animated straight to DVD movies. So EA have dabbled in the extended universe type movie stuff before.
If somebody came with a proposal and then they got somebody like Netflix on board, because I feel like Netflix is like the best way to get your stuff made at the moment. Netflix seems to be very open to making and giving stuff a try.
Because that works. They're like, we'll cancel it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, doesn't work. Yeah, no, I think it'd be fine.
Yeah. Ash, what's your answer?
Also, they're working on a Halo TV series. I forgot about that one.
Didn't they already make a TV series?
Development hell forever.
Wasn't that the one?
Didn't they make one though?
Steven Spielberg.
Yeah,
was
that's different.
Steven Spielberg came on, and then Brian Fuller came on.
Didn't Neil Blomkamp
I don't know where it
come
is.
on?
They got Rupert White came on.
Oh, I thought Neil Blomkamp
at some point, and then dropped out.
This was a part of the Diabolical Xbox.
He was
going to
make the original. He was going to make the movie before he made District 9. That's why he got District 9 made, remember? So yeah, Halo. Maybe that'll be a movie sometime. Listen, I think Kingdom Hearts would be an interesting. You could actually tell a cohesive version of that story.
But the thing is, it would have to be on Disney Plus, or they would have to just rip out all the Disney out of that game.
No, it'd be on Disney Plus.
I don't know how you tell that story in less than 20 seasons.
Also, at the end, of, at the start of the 20th season, the game's always like, also, here's all these characters, and we've also made a spin-off TV show or like a
no, because sure, if they do a TV series, it would just be no. All right, so here's my key question for this, Ash. Kingdom Hearts series.
Yes.
Now, for people who don't know Kingdom Hearts, just strap on for a hot second. So, in Kingdom Hearts timeline, like the first game is kind of you'd start if you want to do them like kind of in chronological order. You start with Birth by Sleep, which introduces.
You don't have to do them in chronological order. You could like do flashbacks.
Yeah, okay, so that's what I was going to say. So you start
like Mickey retells you the story, or
okay.
Merlin tells you the story of something that happened.
Yeah, so your TV series, it stars Sora and everyone. It starts on Destiny Island. It's Kingdom Hearts 1. And then we get flashbacks to Birth by Sleep characters when necessary.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that works. That makes sense.
That would be the most cohesive way to tell that story.
Look, I feel like if we went back in time and we just gave the creators of Kingdom Hearts the original, like the roadmap as it is now for them, they could make the story of Kingdom Hearts actually cohesive and not need a billion random minor installments to like make sense. But also, I think I would love developers and studios to use these kind of TV show tie-ins to add extra context to their video games, much like how Star Wars does with books. I want the Beyond Good and Evil one. Can that please fill in the gap between the games? Can that tell us why Jay is the bad guy of the second game?
This is kind of another important question for any and all of these things. So for example, when they're making the Splinter Cell game, you got to go like, are they making a TV series? Sorry, when they're making the Splinter Cell series, are they making that and they're targeting the fan base, or are they choosing to make it because they think it would make an interesting animated series that can just appeal to everyone anyway? Because I feel like there's no way Netflix greenlights anything that's being targeted at solely the exact same fan base. Like that's a very small group, really, when you think about it. Like I don't feel like Netflix is going to greenlight anything unless
I think
they're like this could reach a new audience.
Splinter Cell's different because it comes under the Tom Clancy banner.
Yeah, I guess that's the selling point. Tom Clancy's.
Yeah, like it comes under that Tom Clancy banner, so it's like people who like army stuff, Tom Clancy. There you go. There's a Tom Clancy thing on top of it.
Because I think that's the thing that often get as gamers, whenever they see a game is being turned into a movie or TV show, their reaction is automatically, oh, this is a bad fit because blah, blah. Like it's always from like sort of introspective as a fan, this is good for me or bad for me, when really from like being more realistic about it, whenever you look at any of these sorts of things, like even if you look at Detective Pikachu, they didn't make Detective Pikachu and go, how's this going to please Pokemon fans the most? I'm sure they were trying to please Pokemon fans, but they're also trying to just make a good movie that can appeal to everyone. You know what I mean? So it's not like, oh, Splinter Cell, how do you make that appeal to everyone? Beyond Good and Evil, how do you make that appeal to everyone? You know, there's always got to be sort of more reach, I guess. I don't know. It depends. So that's why when you're talking about tie-in things, if you're going into making a series as a tie-in thing, then obviously you're like appealing solely to
well, I think you
the
can
fan
do
base.
No,
both.
I said you'd do the Splinter Cell TV series, and then you would make a video game based on the TV series. And that would be the Splinter Cell game that would make everybody happy.
All comes full circle.
That's all good. Yeah, fair enough.
My pick's Life is Strange. That was the one I thought of straight away.
Mhm.
If I had to pick anything.
I think
What,
it'd
an
be cool.
adaptation of the 2 seasons?
No, I would want a new
And
thing.
Before the Storm.
This is one where I think you could actually.
So you just want them to use the name and
Exactly.
have
That's
absolutely nothing to do
fair.
with it.
I feel like. Well, no. Here's
Listen, I want a rock band adaptation.
okay. And you got more.
But like,
That's
it
it.
wouldn't- like Life is Strange is okay. I think as long as it kind of you capture that same kind of aesthetic and like
Yeah,
you
that-
have
well, that-
some
that
kind
was-
of supernatural power.
That
in
was
it.
going to be my point before fucking Rock Band over here shoved in out of left field.
I guess it'd be like an Astro City sort of thing.
Well, it's like, to me, Life is Strange, the key elements between both seasons are young characters, the music, dealing with themes like be it depression, growing up, sexuality, etc., etc. So I feel like there's certain checkboxes that both seasons or both of those games have that make the Life is Strange universe. And also the way when you play those games, obviously they feel like you're playing a Life is Strange game, specifically when you get to certain moments. And of course, me and Kieran have talked about this a lot, where we both really enjoy those moments where the music kicks in and you're just kind of left with this, because the Life is Strange soundtrack's very like indie rock usually type stuff, and that sort of music starts playing and then you kind of just left to experience what's happening as the characters sit and chill. So to me, there's certain things about those games and universe that has a feeling. So when I'm like, what would make a Life is Strange TV series with new characters, I feel like as long as it ticks these sorts of boxes, like the music, the types of characters, themes, superpowers, like that's kind of Life is Strange in a nutshell. And I'm sure if they're planning on making a Life is Strange 3 game, they're the same tick boxes that the studio goes through to make sure that their game fits the universe as well, So I feel like you could obviously turn the first game into I think the first game would... The first game, if they had to pick between which would be the most successful as a TV series adaptation, it would be the first game, obviously. But I personally would just rather something new that ties into the overall universe, because I think it would be, if Life is Strange could be one of those cool franchises where they do new characters, do a third season with new characters, and then they do something that ties in everyone. Like you could, because when me and Nick were doing the Life is Strange podcast, Beyond the Strange, we kept talking about how cool it would be if, eventually down the line, they do several seasons and then all the characters meet. And it's not like the Avengers, but it's like kind of the equivalent of these characters meeting up and being like, we have superpowers, but also life sucks. Hey, we're all emo. Want to listen to music kind of thing. But yeah, either way, Life is Strange, I think would be cool. I don't think that'll happen though. Although they keep extending that. They literally just announced this past week they're doing another Life is Strange spin-off comic book with Chloe and Max. Because Chloe and Max are the characters that just sell
instantly.
Yeah.
People, even though the Bay or Bay decision, even though the picking Chloe decision, fuck it, spoilers for that game, but it's old.
It's old.
Even though that's the non-canon
Ending.
choice ending, you still, people, that's still probably everybody's preferred ending is saving Chloe. So that relationship means a lot to people.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's it. They did one of the comic book series that they did. They had it based on that ending, and people were like, "How's this? You've said the other ending is canon," and they were like, "Well, this ending's canon too, technically, in an alternate dimension." And then I was like, oh my god, we're going to be playing these games, are we? Like, it's canon in an alternate dimension. Fucking get it the hell out.
It's going to turn into like the Zelda timelines.
Yeah, it'll be like, Jesus Christ. There's like fucking Chloe A and Chloe B going on right now, and they can just do alternate. They can do different games that tie into different settings and whatever else. Jesus Christ. Anyway.
I look forward to the 30th game that has a character that can transport through alternate universes and we get to meet everybody.
Just tie them all in. That's fine. That's great.
I'm okay with it. Even though we know that season 2 is at the same place, same universe as season 1, but you know.
I mean, spoilers for Life is Strange season 2, but when if you chose the ending like I did, the good one where you destroy an entire town to keep Chloe alive, there's a point in Life is Strange 2.
The good one, season 1.
Season 1, sorry. There's a point in Life is Strange 2 where if you've chose that decision or like read your save file or whatever so it knows you've got that, where you can actually, if you go into someone's camper van, you can actually find pictures of Chloe and Max together, and you can actually eavesdrop on a phone call between someone who's talking to Chloe on the phone, and you find out that Chloe and Max are at a museum at that point because Max is like dropping off photographs there or something like that. So that game gives you a whole bunch of like what Max and Chloe are actually up to in a post Life is Strange 1 world, but obviously not enough to fully satiate fans who want older stuff. Anyway, I think Life is Strange 2 is actually a better written game than the first one. Just doesn't have the emo punk feel that I think a lot of people grabbed onto from the first game.
Teen drama.
Yeah, it doesn't have like the full teen drama.
Oh, I think it kind of.
It does to a degree.
Not the same kind of teen drama.
Kind of teen drama, yeah. I think the second season
Teen high school drama.
Yeah, second season is a lot better written, I think, overall than the first. First season falls into a lot of teen drama tropes that become a bit.
Yeah.
Look, I love the first game. I love both. I'm just saying I think season 2 is... Who'd have thought that a studio could improve on the second entry? Anyway, that'll do it for this week's episode of Arcade Couch. You can find us all on Twitter by heading to explosionnetwork.com/twitters. You can let us know what you thought of the show and or send in questions or subject lines for next week's episode by emailing mail@explosionnetwork.com with the subject line Arcade Couch. We will see you here, same time, same couch, next week. Boy. Hey, don't forget you can subscribe to the show wherever you're currently listening, and you can drop a review if you can. Find more great shows like this and more content over at explosionnetwork.com, and please consider supporting us for as little as $1 over on our Ko-fi page by heading to explosionnetwork.com/support. Thanks for listening.